That's our history. Buildings and people and memories and dreams. Who better to tell us than those who were there? There's so much to learn from the stories they'll share.
Living history. Living history.
Hello, welcome to Living History with Ed Minshall as our guest today. I'm Ted Goldsboro. We're going to be talking about a little bit about Ardmore, where Ed's family lived, and then we're going over to Penn Wynne, about which I know nothing, so Ed's going to fill us in on Penn Wynne when he was a kid. And so I'll start by asking Ed, where did you live in Lower Merion Township?
I lived in Penn Wynne. It's the southwest corner of the township. It borders with Philadelphia and Hereford Township. And it included Penn Wynne, Overbrook Hills, and Green Hill Farms as one section, but the school was called Penn Wynne School, served all those communities.
Okay. And did you have family members who lived elsewhere in Lower Merion?
Oh yes, my grandmother especially, my favorite. She lived at 113 Calder Avenue in Ardmore, right across from the freight station of the Pennsylvania Railroad, that is.
Is that house there now?
No, it's gone. It's part of the Suburban Square complex now.
Okay. And from when did she live in that house?
Oh, I would say she lived there since my dad was about just turning into an adult. My dad graduated from Ardmore High School, so it was right after that she moved in there. Okay. With her daughter Helen and Jean and my father.
Okay.
Edward Morton.
Now I have a map here that I wondered if you, or not a map, but a aerial shot, and I wonder if you could describe what you see there.
Well, I see the Pennsylvania Railroad, and I see Suburban Square as it was then, not very much. I see the Times Medical Building. I see my grandmother's house, 1, 2, 3, the fourth one down on Calder Avenue, and I can see a little bit of the freight station.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. I have also a picture of, I believe you said it was your next door neighbor's house?
Yeah, grandmom's, well, she had a nickname. It was Ding Dong.
Ding Dong.
Which I gave her as the first grandchild. I gave her that name because every room, every hallway, every lobby in that house had a clock.
Oh.
And when the hour came, so as a little infant, that's what I named her, and it stuck all her life. That's next door to Ding Dong, and their name was Geralman. And later on in my grandmother's life, much to her chagrin, that became an Acme Market.
Okay.
Right alongside her driveway.
Now there's some graphics there, pictures of atlas pages.
Yes.
Is your grandmother's house on that?
Yeah, I think it is here. This is Calder. Yeah, it's right in here.
Okay.
It's after the bend is up where the new movie was.
Mm-hmm.
And
the suburban movie.
And then there was, in those days, there was her favorite. There was like a vendor, fresh foods vendor. Brackbill's.
Yes.
It was called a farm market.
Okay.
But it was very small. But they had all this stuff out on the pavement and so forth. But they would be right alongside of the movie house.
Mm-hmm.
And
well,
that's
okay.
Basically what I see there.
On the back is a picture of you and a dog. Did that dog have a name?
Yeah, Linky.
Linky.
Yeah. Now that dog was given to my brother and I when we were kids after we lost our first dog.
Oh.
He was a German Shepherd, and he was lost to distemper. Oh. And so Ding Dong felt sorry for us and gave us her dog, this little dog. Well, she got it back because my brother, in Penn Wynne, you know, there's a lot of hills. Everything's hills, terraces and hills. And our front lawn was one big terrace. And my brother Bob loved dogs, so he was playing with Linky and rolling him down the hill all the time. And then the dog tried to get up, and then he'd roll him down. But he wasn't doing any harm. But you know, some lady saw it, called the SPCA, and we lost Linky. He went back to Ding Dong. But that's that's the front steps of the porch at 113 Calder Avenue.
Okay. How did your parents happen to settle in Penn Wynne?
It was a new neighborhood. They were the first owners. They bought into a new neighborhood. They lived in South Ardmore when I was born. I was only months old when they moved there. When I was born, they lived with my mother's parents, and I have pictures of that. And they needed a house, and Dad had pretty solid employment at Autocar Company at that point, and they bought that house for $8,000, 232 Henley Road.
What
That's
year?
up near the top of the hill, near the school.
What year would that have been about?
Oh, 1928.
Oh, 28. Okay.
28, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
The year I was born. I was just months old when they moved there. I didn't know anything about the other house, just this one.
Now, before we, I mentioned Penn Wynne, but before we move into Penn Wynne,
Right.
I had these two sheets from the Lower School District, and I wondered if you could tell me where the arrow is, what that's about.
Okay. Well, she was a school teacher at Bala, and obviously you see here she got her education at the University of Pennsylvania. I remember seeing a banner, University of Pennsylvania banner, hanging right on the hallway in 113 Calder Avenue. So she was well educated, and she taught a few years.
Grandmother or your
No,
aunt?
this is my aunt.
Your aunt.
This is my aunt, Aunt Jean, and she taught 5th grade there.
At Bala School.
Yeah, and took me as a little toddler in to show me off to her class one day.
Yeah.
I remember that. I just remember that walk up that steep
Yes, there was
drive.
a hillside
It,
there.
it was on a hillside that
Right.
was built into a bank too.
Now we should pause for a second to
Yeah.
say that the Bala School closed, I would say maybe 1970, and a new Bala School was built on over on Highland and Old Lancaster Road, combined with the Bala Kinwood Library.
Right.
And then that old stone building, which I guess was around the 1880s, I don't know if it says anything up here, but that was eventually torn down. And
Adjoining
now,
the playground also.
okay, well
I
now there's a
remember that
little
place.
playground there, and they have it. The old gymnasium is like it's still there. You can take classes. And
This is only a block away from the Bala Theater. As
that's
I recall.
right, a
Yeah.
block from the Bala
Which
Theater.
is famous old.
Yeah, the Egyptian.
Now the other teacher in the family, of course, was Matilda.
Okay.
That's Ding Dong. That's
And
her
oh,
real
that's-
name.
That's Ding Dong was Matilda.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
where
she
did
was
she teach?
graduated. She graduated in, I think it was 1893, from Westchester Normal School, which is now Westchester University.
Right.
And little side issue.
Yeah.
She tried to get a job in Philadelphia. It was a premier school district in those days, and they wouldn't accept her documents from
Westchester
State.
Wow.
So now I look at it today. Laura Mern's a premier.
Yeah, right.
And they'll
People
take anybody in Philadelphia.
Right. Now, what school was this?
The Bryn Mawr School, which
Okay.
building still stands there across from the Bryn Mawr Hospital.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, was this after your grandfather died?
Oh yes. She could not teach while she was married in those days, as I understand.
That's
I
right.
don't know.
That's
a
right.
fact.
No, they wanted the men to have the jobs.
Right. When she became a widow was when she qualified,
Okay.
and that's when she needed a job too. She was a railroad widow at a young age. Her husband died when he was 47. My dad was 13, 1912, from tuberculosis, which was a plague at that time in America in the early 1900s.
Now, where was she living? Oh, is her address Coulter Avenue also
Yes.
on here? Okay.
Yeah, when she taught. That's when after he died is when they moved from Stratford down to Calder Avenue.
Okay.
And the Stratford house still stands on Old Lancaster.
All right.
Yeah.
And you told me off camera that he was a station master at the Stratford
Yeah,
station?
he started as a porter in Philadelphia at Broad Street, worked his way up to station master at Stratford,
Wow.
and then went into purchasing department.
Uh-huh. All right, now I think I'm ready to move into Penn Wynne.
Okay.
So I have an atlas page here that tells a little bit about what are the
Right.
Overbrook Hills and
Yeah.
Penn Wynne, and it shows the streets.
Right.
I'm accustomed not knowing Penn Wynne. I'm accustomed to being on Haverford Road, and
Yeah.
Penn Wynne seems pretty flat to me. Okay, the school's up on
On a
the
map,
hill.
it's flat.
On a map.
the only
but when you
place.
get over there, it's pretty
Yeah,
hilly.
as you know, we took a ride through Penn Wynne, and you commented on it. It's a roller coaster ride.
But
Like
you'd
my
never-
paper route was a
But
roller
you'd never
coaster.
know that when you're on Haverford Road.
No,
Uh-huh.
no, you wouldn't. No,
So I was joking with Ed, you should call it Penn Hills instead of Penn Wynne.
right. And,
Now, Henley Road is how many streets in off of Haverford Road?
okay, it's Haverford, Trent. Haverford, Rockland, Trent, and Henley.
Okay.
They're the ones that
Third
go
one in. Okay.
up and down. They go north and south, I guess.
And when were these houses built? You know.
Yeah, well, 1928 was the big. They bought that house new. 1928 was a big expansion of an old farm, and that's when they built all those twins. That's the basic house in Penn Wynne itself. As years went on, they went across into Overbrook Hills, and they became singles. They were stone and stucco and frame, a variety of homes. But these were mostly like colonial twins, and every one of them had a lawn that was terraced just about. I mean, Penn Wynne,
Because of the hill.
Henley Road was a big hill down to Manoa. Manoa was probably the lowest point in Penn Wynne, Manoa Road. And, maybe
That's
the
right. You're
park.
going down there.
And some of the hollows and some of the roller coaster hills in Overbrook Hills.
Yes. Yeah.
But,
so these houses were built by developers around 1928.
Yeah, I remember
29.
names of McClatchy and the other name. There was two names.
McWilliams.
McWilliams.
Yeah,
I remember
yeah.
those from hearing my parents mention it.
Uh-huh.
One thing, when I was in Penn Wynne, I noticed all the streets are English names. Every single one. Henley, Braddock, Drayton, Harrogate, Manoa. All those streets are. So it was like an English village, basically. I never recognized that until I went to England in '94. And names are the same.
Yes.
Street
yes.
names over there the same.
Yes. Thanks, Ed.
Okay.
Bringing us up to date here on Living History.
Yep.
We're going to take a little break, and we'll be right back to Living History with Ed Minshall, talking about Penn Wynne.